Martian Manhunter issue 1, Steve Orlando writing, Riley Rosmo on the art. I think we came into this from a really interesting place because we've typically not been a big fan of what Orlando's done in Rebirth. Outside of me and Matt enjoyed most of Supergirl.
Yep.
Had some troubling, one or two troubling issues, but for the most part was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it did notably get better when someone else was co-writing. When Jodie Hauser was taking co-scripting duties there.
Just a little bit.
But GLA, we hated. We hated that
I
book.
stand by Night of the Monster Men as his best work in Rebirth.
That was fun and pulpy for what it was, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree with that necessarily. But so I didn't like that. Didn't even try the unexpected.
Or the electric thingy-mabobs.
Electric
whatever
Warriors,
that was.
which just came out, and no one really knows what it is. Yeah, so the premise of this is that J'onn J'onzz was a corrupt cop on Mars, and he's kind of making up for that on Earth now as a superhero,
Detective.
essentially. Well, he's a detective specifically in this, which seems to be. I mean, the impression I got from the detective stuff is this is back at the start of his time on Earth.
Yep.
Orlando did confirm that this is all set right after he's come to Earth.
That makes
Or
sense.
pretty
Well,
close to.
Yeah.
And also, they've been describing this as set kind of like Mr. Miracle, to where it uses things that we'd be aware of, but it's not necessarily in continuity.
Yeah, I think the way Orlando described it is it's continuity-ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it is, but it's so far removed from anything else that's in play at the moment that it's just standalone.
So I really enjoyed the detective stuff. Him and his partner, I thought, is some of the best writing in I've read from Orlando. Just like the banter back and forth and the
she has a hell of a hairdo.
Yes.
It's
That's
one of those
typical Rosmo.
It's one of those haircuts that I feel like her head should be tilting forward at all times because the hair's just kind of coming out. It's got the big, ridiculous.
It's almost like a pompadour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of wacky.
But yeah, the Choco reference. I'm glad that was in there.
Yeah.
If I'll go get his favorite Choco crested pie.
As someone who's had an Oreo cookie pie cake thing, I can imagine what this thing is, because obviously chocos are basically just Oreo cookies. It was lovely, so I approve wholeheartedly of this.
Yeah.
This
So
endorsement.
it was hidden some of the stuff that I'm familiar with Manhunter. He's a cop now. He was a Manhunter on Mars, but then the way that Orlando's decided to show Martian culture, I was not ready for it.
This was building up to a butt, and I knew it was, and I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Let's. There's a wrestler here named Sin Bodhi. He was Kazarni in WWE. His whole mantra is "Let's get weird," and I feel like Orlando took that.
I mean,
I mean, you wanted Martian sex? There you go.
I
don't think I wanted it, Connor. He gave it to me.
Well, you wanted it now.
I like the detective stuff as well. I think I like the fact that it's like a really dark crime scene. The whole family's been murdered, the girl's missing, and it's like
Iguana named Spaceman.
He's using his telepathy to like read the scene, in ways that the regular cops can't, and that's helping. That's a fun idea. I think that's where the art kind of excels is the detective stuff. The Martian stuff, I kind of hated.
It's awful.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's awful. It's just
the Martian stuff is.
I hate it. Do you know what? See, remember the complaints I had about Green Lantern where I was having trouble following the dialogue?
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
I had the same thing here when it goes to the Martian stuff, and it took me a while to realize that we were seeing that Jean was skimming money and being a collector.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get that was the point of what was going on. 'Cause I just didn't understand what was happening for most of that first double page spread.
Okay, and I thought there was only green Martians and white Martians. Now you're introducing gold Martians. Has that always been a thing? If you guys know, let us know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
As far as I know, that's new. There are some stuff that I like because I'm not familiar with the Martian culture. The whole idea that they have a social form and that's what they present out to the world, but that's not who they are at home. I feel it's a fun commentary on real life.
Because not only did I hate the flow of the dialogue and couldn't really get the gist of it a lot of the time, I hated the art and the Martian stuff as well. I hated how Jean's head looked. in every panel.
Yeah.
I actually, for me, that follows across to even the detective stuff. I like Rosmer's mood a lot. I do not like his faces, more specifically his heads, the head shapes.
Um,
I think
Well,
like the
I feel
chins and
Rosmo's
stuff like that.
an acquired taste when it comes, because it took me a while.
yeah.
First time I really remember being familiar with Rosmo was the Batman Shadow crossover book.
Which was also Orlando,
And
funny enough, which was one
yeah,
of his better things, actually.
so
I
so
think in my experience, Rosmo does better with masks and cowls than he does with
yeah,
Yeah.
expressions and stuff.
I think it worked with the detective stuff for me because it felt kind of pulpy and it was kind of working for what it was doing. Once it goes to Mars, though, in the flashback, it's like all this just extreme weird. It's like he's going for it's all very psychedelic because they're shapeshifters. They can be anything they want, and I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of horrible to look at.
That's cool, but take like 2 steps back. You know?
Do you know? And it's a shame because once it hits that Martian bit, that's like the middle chunk of the book until the final couple pages. So, and it's very 50-50, but that half is horrible. I thought that half was horrible.
It completely derails the book.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get through that section because I'm looking at pictures trying to figure out what's going on in the scene
during that twice.
Yeah, it took me 3 attempts to finish this book, and notably, all the pauses were in that section. It's like I was fine with the detective stuff, and then it got to the Mars stuff. I was like, you know what? No, it's time for a nap. I'll finish later.
So question: what's up with his daughter? Is that just the form she's chosen, or like is that all Martian children?
I assume she's just young and she hasn't gotten to choosing a form yet.
Yeah.
She's just a bit of a blob.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of weird. So I like. I mean, the concept that I like in all this Martian stuff that I mostly don't like is the idea that Jean's hiding the fact that he's a corrupt cop from his wife. So he's got like this one hidden portion of his mind that he's not letting anyone access to, and she's like obviously upset about that and wants to be let into everything. And he's like, oh no, I see a lot of bad stuff as a cop. You don't want to like be burdened with that. And she's like, I work in a hospital. I see lots of weird shit like
grisly stuff. Yeah.
I like that concept on its own. That is a fine idea.
Mm-hmm.
As part of the whole corrupt cop thing, which I don't mind. I don't mind giving him a darker past. That gives the character something to redeem for. I'm okay with that.
It's so weird.
But yeah, I hated the Martian stuff. I thought the dialogue was really bad and hard to follow. I hate the art.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of squiggles and weird shapes. Just it feels almost abstract.
Yeah. But I think that's what they're going for, though. So is it necessarily like? I don't like it, but
I guess the idea is that okay, everyone's a shapeshifter, everyone can be whatever they want, so it would feel weird and like random, but it's just not very appealing to look at, and I feel like I get why you think that would be the way you interpret what the Martian world looked like because everyone can do that, but I've never seen it done that way before. I feel like no, I think there's like a base Martian shape they all have.
yeah, I always thought that too. That's always how, like, on Justice League, when on the cartoon, that we got it. Like, his base form is the one that we saw when he came over on the radio wave.
And we always see the base, white Martians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a base, and I
do like, though, like Orlando is seeding like the sickness that comes out and wipes out most of the culture. So that stuff's coming. So knowing Martian Manhunter, I like that stuff's there. But yeah, well, I think I actually like this more than you guys did.
I liked half of it.
Yeah.
I thought. See, I wouldn't go as far as say, oh, I was really into the detective stuff. I was like, yeah, this is all right. I mean,
I didn't love the detective stuff. I liked the detective stuff.
I thought it was. I was like, this is okay. I thought I'll get through an issue of this. Maybe I'll come back for more. And then I got to halfway, and I'm just like, I don't think I can want to read any more of this. If the next issue is half of this again,
yeah,
I don't know if I got that in me.
I'm not.
I always my base is I'll always give it 2 now. I used to say I give it the first arc, but with how much we have to read,
I'll definitely read issue 2 and give it another fair shake. But
well, if it gets dramatically more weird in the next issue, I'll probably drop it because we all know how I am with stuff like that. But I have an open mind still right now through 2.
I don't know, yeah, I'm 50-50 on it. I really hate the Martian stuff.
Yeah, that was bad.
Conceptually, there's a couple of nice things in there, but it looked and just read kind of bad. So, what are you giving it, Matt?
I give it a 7.5. For real, that's not a fake one.
Yeah, I mean,
Just saying.
he did say he liked it more than us. So
He did.
that's fair.
I'm not shaking my head at it being stupidly high for Matt, like, doing his thing. I can't comprehend giving the book that score.
What are you giving it, Connor?
I'm gonna 4.
I'm going to be kinder on that. I'm going to give it a 6 because I like the detective stuff. I'm hoping it sticks more to that. At least if I'm expecting more flashbacks because his wife's going to have to find out about it and stuff. But I'm hoping that it's less than half an issue next time.
My logic is if 5 is okay, this is just mediocre, right, and below that is bad. If a book made me fall asleep 3 times or whatever it was.
Well, see, I can't do that because I go to sleep reading routinely throughout the week because it's the time I can fit it in.
Well, no, that's
so
fine.
I've fallen asleep reading stuff multiple times.
If I fall asleep reading an issue once, that's fine. I'll just finish it the next day. But when I fall asleep, I didn't even start reading anything else. I was, all right, I'm okay. I'll read this one issue. I'll finish this off before I get onto anything else. And then I fell asleep again. If it's doing that, it has to be at least bad.
No, I'm going with 6. I'm being somewhat kind for now, but knowing Orlando, knowing how much I don't like the Martian stuff, I'm kind of expecting it to piss me off next issue and then drop it, but we'll see.
Yeah.